Hi everyone, welcome to the Art of Business English. Andrew Ambrosius here again for another episode. Now, this is episode 95, so we're getting on to nearly 2 years of podcasting with you guys. So it's great. My audience is growing every day. I'm very, very excited about that. I love to be able to serve and help my audience. And I really appreciate that a lot of you are sharing my content and that you're sharing it with your friend and family, because that's really the best way that we can reach more people and get people to improve their business English. Now, today's episode is basically going to be looking at meeting skills again. It's a quick episode today because I'm just going to be looking and focusing on how to give opinions in meetings. Okay, so some really useful language. Last week in episode 94, we looked at how you can open a meeting. In episode 95 today, we're going to look at how you can start to participate. So, in meetings, you are required to give opinions, and I've got to be looking at ways you can give strong opinions, neutral opinions, and tentative opinions. And in the last part of the episode, we're also going to just quickly look at some expressions on how you can ask someone for their opinion too. Okay, so let's kick things off then with episode 95, expressions for giving opinions in a business meeting. Okay, so we'll start with giving a strong opinion. Okay, and to do that, we can use some of the following expressions. The first one is, I firmly believe that. Now, firmly, is a great way to make your opinion stronger than by just saying, I believe. If you say, I believe that, it is less conviction. There's less conviction there. If you say, I firmly believe that, and then give your opinion, it really means that you stand by what you believe. Okay, you are strongly strongly aligned with the opinion that you're about to give. Okay, the next one is, I'm absolutely convinced that. Okay, so again, you're using the adverb absolutely to really make a more impact and add some more conviction to that opinion. Okay, so I'm absolutely convinced that. And if you say that in a meeting, people are going to really understand that that's what you believe. Okay, and the next one is, I'm certain that. Okay, so when you're certain about something, you believe it with a lot of conviction as well. You could also put an adverb before certain. You could say, I'm completely certain or totally certain about something. And that way, you can make it even more impactful, okay? And more of a stronger opinion. All right, let's look at the next one, which is, I have no doubt that. So I have no doubt that. So by having no doubt, meaning there is no doubt in your mind about something. So, that can also express or demonstrate to someone that you believe something strongly, okay? And the next one is, as far as I'm concerned, and then you give your opinion. So for example, as far as I'm concerned, I think the first option is the best and will give the company the best result. So if you say, as far as I'm concerned, it means, this is what is important to you, okay, at the time. Okay, so really using this expression can help you align your opinion with that of a strong one, okay? So those are, 5 ways that you could introduce a strong opinion in your next business English meeting, okay? So let's look then at giving a more neutral opinion. In this case, giving a neutral opinion can sometimes be a good idea, maybe more strategic. If you give a strong opinion, then you have a lot of conviction about that. But giving more of a neutral opinion is just a way to be in the meeting, but maybe not committing to something completely. Remember, words are powerful, so you need to be careful that you commit to some things, because maybe things change. So sometimes it's okay just to give your opinion in a neutral way, and to do that we could use some of the following expressions. So the first one we're going to look at is the classic, I think, I believe, I feel, I consider, and I suppose that. So those are quite neutral. We always teach our students, try and avoid using I think all the time. It's very common for people to always say I think because, in Spanish, you say yo creo, and creo is I think, I believe, I feel. So you're using, one word for many in English, whereas in English we like to try and change and say I believe, I feel, as opposed to always repeating I think, I think, I think. If you keep saying I think, it will become very repetitive. So, try and use some of these different options to mix up your neutral opinion giving. The next one we could use is in my opinion. Also very common and perfectly acceptable. So in my opinion. You could also say in my view. That would also work. Or you could say from my point of view. Desde mi punto de vista. So from my point of view is very common and good expression to use. Just make sure that you don't modify it. It's just this way. It's very, it's a fixed expression. It's not in my point of view. I've heard some people make that mistake. They say in my point of view because they mix it with in my opinion. So really be careful. Don't mix these expressions up. The prepositions are quite, they're fixed expressions. Don't change the preposition. It's from my point of view. And it's exactly the same desde mi punto de vista. So, the translation is pretty much literal. So there's no way that you can mix it up. So I just encourage you not to, put in my point of view, which is a common mistake I hear. Okay, the next one is to my mind. Okay, to my mind, meaning, my mente, my mind. What's in my mind at the moment. Okay, so that's another one. And then we can also say in my eyes. Okay, so in my eyes is very similar to in my view. Okay, in my eyes, I feel this is a good plan. Okay, so, just a variation. It's quite neutral. I hold the view that, a little bit more formal. I hold the view that, again, it could be used in a more of a neutral context. This is your view. It's not necessarily that's something very concrete. You can change your view on things, especially when you are presented with new information. Okay, let's look at the next one. So the next one we're going to cover in this episode is giving a tentative opinion. Now, a tentative opinion is very useful if you don't want to commit. You just want to sort of say, you're feeling how things are going in the meeting. You don't want to side with this person. You don't want to side with that person. So you can give a bit of a tentative opinion. And this is a way to be a bit strategic as well when participating in a meeting. So some of the expressions that we can cover or we could use when we want to give a tentative opinion is, I guess that. So, you're sort of saying you sort of understand, I guess that is something that we could adopt. I guess that's something we could do. So you're not really committing to it 100%. You're being very tentative. Another thing we could say is, it seems to me that this could be a good idea. Okay, again, so it seems to you, depending on how things change or evolve, you could definitely change your opinion. The next one is, I'm under the impression that. Now, when you say, I'm under the impression that, this impression is given to you by factors. So when you say, I'm under the impression that, then you're saying, I'm under the impression that this is how it is because of these factors or these things that I'm aware of. But if those factors are not legitimate, or if those factors are not 100% correct, or the things that you are aware of change, then you can definitely, change the impression that you're under, because the impression you have is based on external factors. Okay, so a good one for being tentative. The next one is, it's my impression that. So very similar. It's my impression that. Now, when we say it's my impression that, it's very similar to I'm under the impression. The factors that I've got are making me feel this or making me feel that. Okay. Let's look at the next one, which is as far as I can say. Now, as far as I can say is very similar to the previous ones. It's my impression that, as far as I can say means, as far, I can only go this far because I only have this much information. Okay, if I had more information, maybe I could extend my opinion and be a bit more stronger in my views. But as far as I can say means based on the knowledge that I have, or based on what information has been presented to me, I can say this, or I can give my opinion on that. So a really good way to be tentative is using as far as I can say. Okay, so again, you can change that or rectify that when more information is given to you. All right, another one is I gather that. Now, I gather means I assume, I gather, from what I understand of the situation. Okay, so I gather that we could try this option based on this. Okay, so another expression to use to help you be a little bit tentative and less, strong in your views. Okay, so basically, the last part of the episode now is what we're going to be covering is asking for opinions. Now, it's easy to give opinions with these expressions I've given you, but sometimes we also need to ask people for their opinions. So let's have a look at some expressions we can use when we want to ask people for their opinion. The first one is, what's your opinion of? Okay, so if you say, what's your opinion of, what's your opinion of this option? Or what's your opinion of the plan that's been proposed? You could say, what's your position or your view on? Now make sure you use the correct preposition on, okay? What's your position or what's your view on? It's very important that we use that one correctly for our accuracy and fluency. The next one we can say is, what do you think of? Easy, no? What do you think of this? Or what do you think of the option here? What do you think about that? Okay, so of or about can both come after the verb think, but you can never use the preposition in. You can't say, what do you think in, okay? I know that in Spanish you can pensar en algo, but we need to say, what do you think of, or what do you think about, okay? The next one is, John, can I get your input on? So, using the person's name is a great way to grab their attention. So you say, John, quick pause, and then you say, can I get your input on this? So, you're provoking them to give you some of their, or give you their opinion, or give you some further information on that topic. And finally, you could also say, Mary, could you share your impression? So we're asking her nicely, could she share her impression of the current situation that we are talking about? So those are 4 or 5 expressions that you can use when you want to ask someone for their opinion on something. Okay, so that is a quick episode for you today, my friends, to get, participating and giving your opinion easily and comfortably in a meeting. Remember, you can do it in a strong way if you really feel that you have a strong conviction about something. You can do it in a neutral way where you're just giving your normal opinion, or you can do it in a tentative way if you don't want to commit to something, or if you feel that you don't have all the information to be able to give a full opinion about something or some issue in the meeting. And finally, if you would like to also ask other people for their opinion, you've got 4 or 5 expressions that you can use just to pass the conversation or move the meeting over to someone else. Okay, so I hope you found those expressions useful. My final thoughts for the day are really that you need to feel confident when you're trying to participate in meetings. You should listen, but you should also try and participate when possible. And just slowing things down, having these expressions to give you some time to think about it. You can say, oh, okay, well, from my point of view, it just slows things down a bit, gives you a little bit more time to think, which can sometimes be an issue when you're in a meeting with native people or people who speak confidently. Maybe you're a little bit nervous and you need a little bit of time to consider the options. And it's also good to really appreciate the difference between strong, neutral and tentative to make sure that you transmit the correct message. You don't want to give someone a strong opinion when you don't have all the information, and maybe you should be more tentative. So yeah, being sensitive to those is also very important. Now, we're coming up to Christmas. If you're listening to this podcast now, we are in the second week, I think, of November now. So we'll be having a few Cyber Monday and Black Friday deals coming up in the coming 2 weeks, I think. So stay tuned for those. But in the meantime, head over to the Art of Business English University, where you can have a look at all the courses we've got on offer. I will be working obviously on a meetings course. I do have a lot of material and a lot of courses ready for meetings. So stay tuned for that. I'm always working slowly towards producing more content for my listeners. But yeah, head over to the Art of Business English University, where you can check out all of the options for furthering your language learning. If you're interested in grabbing a copy of our ebook, don't hesitate. It's only $9.99, and you get 500 business English collocations with all of the pronunciation by yours truly, myself. So you've got the native pronunciation of how to pronounce each of those 500 business English collocations. Plus, you've got example sentences to put them into context. You can grab a copy from the website. And that's about it from me, people. I hope you are enjoying the Art of Business English. I hope you're enjoying the content. If you are, please share it with your friends, colleagues, loved ones, whoever. And yeah, help me spread the word. If you love what I'm doing, put up a 5-star rating or a review on the iTunes or Spotify or wherever you consume my content. And as always, if you have any questions or you have any comments you'd like to get some feedback on, then I'm always here. Drop me an email or put a comment on my website or send us a post on Facebook, whatever you want. I'm more than happy to answer your questions. And if you do want to come on to the Art of Business English as a guest, please feel free. Would love to have some live coaching. So yeah, all you need to do is ask me. Don't feel shy. It's not live. And yeah, if you'd like me to produce an episode on any topic, then I'm here at your disposal. Well, that's it from me, people. From this time until next week, I hope you have a great week, and I'll see you all soon. Take care. Bye for now.